Hare Krishna. So we continue our discussion on divine qualities that are explained by Krishna in 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Before the festival of Ratha Yatra, Lord Chaitanya asked all the devotees to cleanse the temple of Gundicha, where they tried to pull the Lord from Jagannath Puri. And temple of Gundicha, of course, represents Vrindavan. And the Lord requested all the devotees to help him clean the temple very thoroughly. And we know that they first twice swept the whole temple, and then washed the temple very thoroughly also. They were carrying buckets and buckets, hundreds of buckets of water, and washing every corner, and even the ceiling and the walls of the temple. Yes. So the cleansing of the Gundicha temple represents the cleaning of our heart before we invite the Lord in our heart. So as we are expecting the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra, it's proper to cleanse our heart also. And it's no better way of cleansing the heart than to acquire these godly or divine qualities that are explained by Krishna. Of course, we will not have time to go through all of them very thoroughly. But still, the idea is there that we can meditate how to develop qualities and how the Lord and his devotees represented them, these particular qualities. So first we discussed Abhayam, the first quality that is mentioned, and we concluded that this Abhayam signifies our complete dependence on Krishna. Immediately when we lack some trust in Krishna, or we are overcome by material consciousness, then immediately there is fear. No one can be free from fear if one has material consciousness, at least to certain degree. Then to a certain degree there is fear. Yes, because fear is the basic principle of material existence, like sleeping, eating, mating, and fearing, or defending. Defending means also fear. Bhaya is fear. So yes, this fear is all pervading our existence. So the next, and of course we should know that these qualities are interconnected. One can hardly exist without the other. So and we also said that we shouldn't try to develop them separate from our devotion to Krishna. Because if we try to develop them separate from our bhakti, then it would be jnana avrita, or obstacle to pure devotional service. So we should always have this in mind, that it's not that we should independently develop these qualities, because we know, yes, yasti bhaktir bhagavate kinchana sarve guna istatra samasate suraha haro abhaktasya kuto mahat guna manoratanasati daoto bahi. It is explained in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord's devotees develop all good qualities, divine qualities of demigods. And Haro abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. If someone is not a devotee, very any good quality? The verse asks. Kuto mahadguna. That means that if someone is not a devotee, he hasn't any good quality. And why one may think this is fanatical, fanatical statement. But it's true, because all these other qualities, so-called good qualities, manoratinasati tavatubahi, because the consciousness is directed outwards, towards metta. So every other so-called good quality just perpetuates our suffering. So if someone causes suffering to others, is he has a good quality or a bad quality? It's a bad quality, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. If someone prolongs suffering to others, he's a sadist, we can say. So everyone who is not a devotee, he is a sadist, knowingly or unknowingly. Maybe he or she thinks that he is a very noble person, and that he's striving for the benefit of all humanity even, maybe. But actually he's a sadist. Yes, he prolongs suffering of living entities. So there is no good quality if bereft of bhakti. So never try to develop anything separate from bhakti. Yes, this should be our main focus. So these qualities here are not enumerated just to know them by heart and strive to acquire them to be perceived as a great personality. Yes, even if only in our own eyes. Yes, I should have these good qualities, because all good personalities, great personalities, have such qualities, so I should also acquire them. No, this is wrong mentality. Our mentality should be, my service to Krishna is pleasing only if I am like this, because Krishna explains that we should have these qualities. So certainly these qualities must be pleasing to Krishna. So I should develop them for the Lord's pleasure. So the next quality is sattva samshuddhi, abhayam sattva samshuddhi. Yes, sattva samshuddhi. Yes, or purifying our existence, purifying of our existence. So, what does this mean? To purify our existence. Yes. So that means that we cleanse our heart from these 6 enemies of the soul: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. And these 6 enemies of the soul are the greatest impurities in our heart. Yes. So if we maintain them somehow or other, knowingly or unknowingly, there is no question of bhava sanshuddhi. So kama is material desire. Usually, many times we translate it as sex desire. But it's not only sex desire. Actually, kama is any desire for bodily pleasure. Yes, for bodily pleasure. So, therefore, it is explained in a nectar of instruction in Upadeshamrita of Rupa Goswami, Atyahara prayasascha prajalpaniyamagraha jana sangarshalolem shadbir bhaktir vinashati. That there are 6 items that destroy our bhakti. And first is atyahara. Literally, it means overeating. But our acharyas explain that this overeating is not just by our mouth and tongue, but overeating with any of our senses. Yes, so trying to enjoy anything separate from Krishna is atyahara, and therefore it is sometimes collected as even as over collecting things. Yes, so we should understand that this karma means trying to enjoy our senses, the purpose of bodily pleasure, not just sex desire. Sex desire is, of course, very prominent desire for bodily pleasure. One of the most basic desires, yes, like eating and sleeping also. So oversleep, overeating, unnecessary engagement in sex, or just listening to entertain ourselves, everything is atyahara, or watching something just to entertain ourselves is atyahara, is actually expression of this karma. And many times even devotees are listening to kirtan with this purpose, to entertain themselves, not to worship the holy name. Or many times even as a background sound, just that there is some sound. It wouldn't be so boring something. Yes. So yes, we should try to avoid this, and also try to avoid enjoying spirit in taking prasad. Also, we should understand that prasad is Krishna's mercy, so we honor prasad, we worship prasad. At least that should be our idea, our desire. Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Shri Radha Parizishvara ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. So this should be our aspiration, of course, as long as we are conditioned, and sadhana bhakti means we are conditioned still. We have so many imperfections. It's not possible to give them up on our own. So that should be our prayer. We mentioned yesterday this attitude of Narottam Das Thakur, or maybe it was some other day, but still the mood is important. Narottam Das Thakur prays that I'm afraid that I will not be able to give up or overcome these obstacles in the path of devotional service. And this is the personality that Lord Chaitanya himself stored Prema Bhakti. And he was overflown by Prema Bhakti, given directly by Lord Chaitanya himself. But still, he prays in the mood, I'm afraid that I will not be able to give up these obstacles, and therefore I pray constantly. So this should be our mood, that we should pray constantly to give up bad qualities and completely engage as far as we can in devotional service. So this bhava-samshuddhi is this desire to give up these enemies of the soul. And the next one is lobha, which is greed. And greed, of course, is also this fight, this strife for existence, because we believe that if we gather something, that this will support our existence. Yes, and therefore, and that also will these things will support my enjoyment. So they will will support my karma also, and my existence. Everything is basically, we should understand that everything stems from our eternal nature. Karma also, because we want, by our nature, we are ananda mayobhya sat, we are living entities of pleasure. We cannot go without pleasure. So every our thought, every our word, every our action, knowingly or unknowingly, is searching for pleasure. So as long as we identify with our body, so naturally we want our body to feel pleasure, because we think that we are the body, and theoretical knowledge is not sufficient, and that we just know that we are not this body. Yes. And we can see from the example of Ram Lila how these great personalities were free of these impurities. For example, when Ram was exiled into the forest for 14 years, Bharat was supposed to be the king, but he didn't accept this position. Actually, he was absent when Lord Ramachandra was exiled. He was not present in Ayodhya at the time. And when he came, everyone congratulated him. He was surprised, what is this congratulations, what for? He was congratulated to be the king. And there was no Ram, and no one welcomed him. And then he learned that Ram was exiled into the forest because of his own mother. He was furious. He rejected actually his mother. And then he went to bring Ram back to Ayodhya with the whole army, to bring Ram back. So where was karma and lobha for him? There was no trace of karma and lobha for Bharat. And even though Lord Ramachandra didn't want to return because he wanted to uphold the word of his father, so then Bharat wanted at least his sandals to put them on the throne. And then he lived the whole 14 years. He was he underwent the most austere life, more than Ram and even Lakshman. He was existing only on barley soaked in the cow urine for 14 years. And he lived outside of Ayodhya, very austere life, like Vanaprastha. He lived in great austerities. So we can see how important it is to be free of these enemies of the soul. Yes, this lobha is great enemy, and karma and lobha both are the cause of great hostility amongst people. Yes. There is one saying that there is not enough gold and not enough women in this world even for one person. What to speak for many people. So therefore we can see that there is so much envy, so much hatred, so much fighting just because of this karma and lobha and nothing else actually, and deception also just because of karma and lobha. And anger, the next one, krodha, is also it is one of the word for krodha or for anger is kamanuja. Have you heard this? Kamanuja means younger sister of karma. Yeah, that means that it's born after karma. Kamanuja. Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapakma vidyanami khavarinam. Lord Krishna explains that this karma and krodha are most sinful, deadly enemies, all devouring deadly enemies of the world, actually. And one should, therefore, from the very beginning, Lord Krishna explains, tasmat tvam indriyanyado niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahihinam jnana vijnana nashanam. That from the very beginning one should therefore try to control his senses. Yes. But of course we know that this is not easy task. Therefore Lord Krishna says also in 5th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, when he explains that this trying to satisfy our senses is craziness, because trying to satisfy our senses is gives birth to misery. Dukkha yonaya yehi sansparsharo bhoga dukkha yonaya evati adyantavantah kauntaya natesharamati buddha. So one who is Buddha doesn't, or awake person, intelligent person, doesn't try to enjoy these senses, because this sense enjoyment is dukkha yonaya, gives birth to misery, because adyantavantah kauntaya natesharamati buddha. Everything has its beginning in this world and its end. And since we are eternal living entities, we want to experience pleasure all the time. But there is no possibility to experience pleasure on the bodily level all the time. There is always mixture of sukha and dukkha, and of pleasure and pain, of these dualities, of misery and some happiness, and honor and dishonor, health and disease, young age and old age. So all the time there is some duality. One cannot go without the other. So yes. And then Lord Krishna, after explaining this, he says, Shaknoti hevayak sudun prakshariram mokshanat kama krodhat bhavam vegam sayuktak sasukinara. One who is able to tolerate, he doesn't say that we can overcome these desires. Shaknoti hevayak sudun prakshariram mokshanat kama krodhat bhavam vegam sayuktak sasukinara. One is happy in this world. So one who is able to tolerate them, not give them up, because one cannot give them up, as we cannot give up our hunger and thirst and need for sleeping also. Therefore Krishna explains that we should be balanced in these needs, yukta hara viharasya, yukta chishtasya karmasya, yukta swapno bhutasya, yoga bhavati dukkha. Yes. Only when we are balanced, we can perform yoga. So we can engage in devotional service also, because this is bhakti-yoga, topmost yoga system, as Prabhupada says. Yes. But we should be balanced, because if we are not balanced, then these demands of the body will increase, actually. Therefore, we can see these great tapasvis, they easily succumb to anger many times. We can see Durvasa Muni and other such tapasvis, Vishwamitra Muni. they succumb to kama and krodha. Yes, although they perform severe austerities for thousands of years. Yes, thousands and thousands of years. So, what's the use of these austerities if the heart is not get purified? So bhakti has the only potency to purify the heart, actually. Actually, Krishna himself, satisfied by bhakti, cleanses our heart. So bhakti has such tremendous power, has more power than Krishna, actually. Krishna is all attractive. Therefore, the very name Krishna is all attractive. That means he attracts everything and everyone. No one is attracted to anything but Krishna. Even the most ardent atheists are attracted only to Krishna, but unknowingly. They don't know this. But Krishna explains, yat vibhutimat sattvam shriyamat urjitam yubhava tat vavagatsatvam mamate jomsha sambhavam. That everything that is attractive, everything that is beautiful, everything is just a spark of my splendor. So everyone is attracted to Krishna only, because everything is just his spark. Everything emanates from me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattu sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me. So everything is part of Krishna. So everyone is deeply in love with Krishna only. Yes. But bhakti, although Krishna is so attractive, but bhakti is Sri Krishna Akarshini. Krishna attracts everyone, but bhakti attracts the all attractive one. So bhakti is more powerful than the most powerful one. Yes. So only by bhakti we can cleanse our heart from all these impurities of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, this illusion. And immediately when one thinks that he's master of anything, even master of his senses, he's Goswami, he is victim of moha, of illusion, because we are never masters. This is not our position. There was never there was a time that any living entity would be a master. Many innumerable living entities are trying to be masters all the time, but not even one succeeded to be master. Yes. We can become masters by realizing that we are servants. This is a paradox. Yes. Only a servant is a master. Is a master of true identity, actually. Then we realize that we are what we really are. that we are always the servants, but servants of Krishna, not servants of anything else. And of course, everything that is connected to Krishna, the Dhyanam Samarshanam, we should know that whatever is connected to Krishna is as good as Krishna. So therefore, if we serve Lord's part and parcels, knowingly that the Krishna's part and parcels, we serve Krishna also. So this should be understood very thoroughly, because this krodha and matsarya, for example, envy, they stem only from idea that I'm the master. But others have also this idea, I'm the master, and therefore there is competition between living entities for this mastership, who would be the master. And therefore I envy others that can approach my level of being a master. Yeah. If someone is too high for us, we don't envy them. Who envies the king? No one envies the king, except some rival king or rival prince. But ordinary people, they don't envy the king. They maybe are afraid of a king and hate him, but they don't envy him, because this position is completely out of reach for them. But if someone is somewhere near to our reach, then we envy them very severely. If we have this material consciousness. And therefore all gossip in this world is the consequence of envy. Yes. Why we would discuss the faults of others? This because then we prove to the whole world that this particular person doesn't deserve certain position that should be occupied by me. Or to have certain enjoyment that should be enjoyed by me. So, yes, this moha is not understanding that we are servants. So we should be servant of every living entity. Because mamaivam sho jiva loki jiva bhutak sanatana. Krishna explains that every living entity is my part and parcel. So since every living entity is Krishna's part and parcel, we should be everyone's servant, isn't it? If we understand this Jivara Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das, that we are always the servant. So we are a servant of every living entity. And what does it mean? Of course, we don't serve according to the whims of crazy living entities. Yes, because, for example, a doctor serves the patient not according to the patient's desire. Yes. What kind of a doctor would be? Patients wants, because of addiction to some crazy thing, patients becomes ill, and he wants to engage in some particular crazy thing, but physician or doctor, he doesn't allow patient to engage in such things. So he doesn't serve him according to the patient's desire. This should be also our understanding of conditioned souls. They are also patients. They are also crazy. And their desires are also crazy. So our service to them is not according to their desires, because by their own desires they will prolong their disease and death. they will invite death in their life. So our service to them is to help them to become Krishna conscious. Yes, because only by Krishna consciousness they get relief from this pain of material existence. So this is our service to every living entity, and we should understand this. And therefore Lord Chaitanya also instructs us, Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh, Amara agya guru khanya tare desh. So that means that we should instruct everyone about Krishna's teaching. Yes. Whoever we meet and become a guru. This is instruction to become a guru. And everyone is and should be a guru. This is also explained by Lord Rishabhati. Gurur na sasyat sarjano na sasyat pita na sasyat janina na sasyat. Devam na tatsyan na patishasyan na mochayat yaksumam pitya mityam. Basically, he enumerates different roles as guru and father and mother and husband and even a relative. So basically he says that we shouldn't exist if we cannot relieve others from suffering. Yes. So Lord in different incarnations says the same thing, that we should live for the benefit of others. Also Krishna in 10th canto, he explains like this. Sorry? Yes. Etava triva sapalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranar arta dhyavacha shreya acharanam sada. That one should, with his pranar arta dhyavacha, with his life, with his wealth, with his words and intelligence, he should live for the benefit of others. So yes, every incarnation of the Lord, even the original personality of Godhead as Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, are teaching us this. Therefore we should know that we are a servant in every circumstance. Even when parent has to chastise a child, or guru has to chastise the disciples, and king has to kill the culprit, this should be done with compassion, actually, for a particular soul. Yes. So this is moha, if we don't understand that we are servants. And mada is pride. Pride, and sometimes it is translated as madness. So if we are proud, we are mad, actually. This is madness, to be proud of anything, because Krishna says in 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā that his Paurusham Nrishu, that his ability in man. So whatever ability we have is just Krishna's desire, just Krishna's will, just Krishna's mercy. And he can take it away immediately. Immediately. Maybe we are the most powerful person, we can lift 500 kgs with one hand. But the next moment Krishna takes away this ability and we cannot even carry a spoon into our mouth. Yes. So if someone is proud of anything, it's craziness. That actually means that we identify with some quality that we don't have, really. And this is a sign of craziness. Yes. In asylum for crazy people, there are people who identify with someone they're not. I don't know about France, but in Slovenia we have this stereotype of crazy person that he identifies with Napoleon. You have also the same?
There is even an anecdote about this with a doctor and a patient who thinks he was a Napoleon.
Yes. Have in France also?
Yeah.
Because Napoleon was French. so this stereotype idea is that a crazy person puts a hand like this, like Napoleon was portrayed. It's like with a hand like this. And he says, "I'm Napoleon." And every morning the doctor, when he meets this patient, he says, "Good morning, Mr. Napoleon." And he says, good morning, like this. This is a sign of craziness. And if we maintain any kind of pride, we are like such false Napoleon. Yes. False Napoleon. Worthy to be treated because of our madness. Yes, craziness. And Matsarya we have already discussed. Matsarya is envy. It's basically the consequence of our identification with material body, with our material existence. And competing with others for supremacy, because we want to be supreme. We want to be God, actually. Therefore, we envy anyone who endangers our godly position. Yes. Hare Krishna. So, Bhava Sanshuddhi means that we understand and live by principles. Therefore, Prabhupada said to a devotee who said that he's unable to keep these vows in his spiritual life. He said, then you're an animal. Yes, because animals cannot keep vows. Why did you promise? He pressed on him. Why did you promise if you're unable to keep your promise? Yes. So this Bhava Sanshuddhi means to live by certain principles, and these certain principles are against our conditioned nature. We should know, because many times in modern world it is fancy to say you should follow your nature, isn't it? You shouldn't go against your nature, but our nature is animalistic. Yes. Our conditioned nature is desiring animals' pleasures, actually. Therefore, all this training and teaching is needed. Otherwise, why would there would be school? Or why there would be some laws? Animals, they don't have self-imposed laws, but humans do. So every law is a sign that we live against our nature, that we don't follow our nature. Every kind of law, isn't it? Therefore, this is a law. You should behave like this, not according to your nature. Yes. This is a sign that no one lives according to his nature in a human society. Yes. And therefore, if you want to upgrade your consciousness, bring it to higher level, we should go even more against our conditioned nature. Of course, we know in the third chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Lord Krishna himself explains Sadrisham Chishtati Sasyaha prakritir gyanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kinkarishyati. That even a great personality follows his own nature. And what can repression accomplishes? It seems like contradiction, isn't it? But Krishna explains this in 3rd chapter, that we should follow our particular nature in the sense that we engage it in the service of the Lord. So, because Arjuna wanted to become a sannyasi in the beginning of Bhagavad-gītā, in 2nd chapter, he said it's better for me to go to the forest than to live for the sake of blood of my superiors, like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship. And then Krishna said to him that this is impurities in your heart. All your arguments why abstain from fight. So you should fight. Karmani eva dikarasti ma paleshu kadarshana ma karma pala hiturbur ma te sangosto karmani. Your qualification or your adhikar is to fight or to perform certain work, not to abstain from work. Therefore, he says everyone should follow his particular nature and engage it in devotional service. So you are kshatriya, so perform your kshatriya duties according to your nature, because this is your nature. Otherwise, if you will follow your own ideas according to, it's explained in 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, then your nature will force you to act in a certain way. Svabhavajina kaunteya nibbadaksina karmana kartum nichatsya nuhat karishasya vishopitat. You will be forced to act in a certain way. Because if he would go to the forest and he would live amongst the sages, and there would be some demons harassing the sages, what happened many times, he would kill them immediately, because this was his nature, to protect. So he would give up this idea of being a sage, peaceful. And he would start to kill immediately, because this was his nature. He couldn't sit and just watch some violence to be done to the sages. This would be completely against his nature. So Krishna says, engage your nature. But this doesn't mean that we just give up all sense control and engage in according to our bodily nature. Yes, that means that we should engage our propensities in this world for Krishna's service, but whatever is against Krishna's service, we should control or give up. Therefore, Krishna says, dharma viruto bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava, that I'm kama, if not against the principles of religion. Yes. And such kama is Krishna himself, if engaged in the service of Krishna. But if it is used just for sense pleasure, it's demoniac. It's just material conditioning and nothing else. And it will be cause of further suffering in this world. Getting new and new births and sufferings. So this bhava samshuddhi should be taken very seriously. Yes, we should live according to spiritual principles and try to develop this godly consciousness qualities mentioned in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā in the beginning, first 3 verses. Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment? Yes, please.
As in the last you mentioned that one should act as per his own nature. But how to find out the nature? Most of the times it's modes of nature that are working.
Yes, this is the problem of Kali Yuga. We can say, yes, live according to your nature, either as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. But no one knows what is his nature. And this is because we don't take care of Krishna's system. Because Krishna's system is to for people to be married according to their nature. The people from Kshatriya families would be married together. Therefore, it's not good to mix people. And this mixing of different varnas is called varna sankara. Mixture of two varnas. But now they're not mixture of two varnas, but unlimited varnas. Mixture of the mixture. So what to do? Yes, it's complete mess. Therefore, I just read today in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada explains that this Krishna consciousness movement, this Sankirtan movement brought by Lord Chaitanya, is transcendental. Golokira Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. It comes directly from Goloka. So, personally he says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that practically Varnashrama system is not practical. Because there is not pure Varnashram system possible in Kali Yuga. Therefore, this Sankirtan movement is recommended because it's transcendental to this bodily Varnashram dharma. This in the talks between Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya mentioned. Because Ramananda Rai in the beginning, when Lord Chaitanya asked him what is the ultimate goal of life, he mentioned living according to Varnashram dharma. This was first idea of Ramananda Rai. And he supported this with some verses. No, next from Vishnu Purana. From Vishnu Purana. The Lord is satisfied with performing of our prescribed duties. But then Lord Chaitanya said to him that he should go deeper, that this is external. So this doesn't answer your question, but there is something that we can help with, at least a little bit, because everyone is either more introvert person and or extrovert person. And introvert persons are two varnas, Brahmanas and Shudras. They're introvert personalities. They're not talkative too much and not outward person. And outward are Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. No Vaishya can be introvert. He wouldn't sell anything. And Kshatriyas also have to be big leaders. They have to be outward by their nature. So if we are more outward, that means that we are either Kshatriyas or Vaishyas. And if we have this idea that we should have money, that means that we are Vaishyas more. And if we are inward personality, introvert, then we are either Brahmanas or Shudras. And if we have some inclination for study, that means we are Brahmanas. If we don't have inclinations for study, then we are Shudras by our nature. And we are better off with some manual work and will be much more satisfied than in any other position. So we can judge what is prevalent in our life, if we are more outward or more introvert personality. Yes, then we can judge, at least to a certain degree, what is our prevalent nature. Yes, this can be helpful, but we should know that this mix is all pervading. So there will be no pure traits in any person in Kali Yuga, actually. But still, we can take help of this science. But we shouldn't have these ideas that Shudras are low class. Therefore, I don't want to be Shudra. Actually, devotees are beyond all these bodily designations. And it's offensive to perceive devotees according to these qualifications. But Shudras are glorified in Shastra. For example, if we take in different instances in Srimad Bhagavatam, for certain stories there are Palashruti at the end of certain stories. This means benediction of hearing certain pastime. And it is said that Brahmanas, if they hear this certain story, they will become Chaturvedi or something. They will know all different Vedas. And Kshatriyas, they will become kings of the world, or even of the universe. Yes. And Vaishyas, they will become fabulously rich, or they will be given so much cows and so on. But Shudras, they will get pure devotional service, pure bhakti. Because it's natural for a Shudra to identify as being a servant. And this is our position. We should acquire this Shudra mentality. I'm just a servant and nothing else. Yeah, so this mentality of a Shudra is glorified. Yes, it's glorious because it's understanding I'm just a servant. I'm just a servant. It's very hard to some elevated Brahmana to have this genuine feeling I'm just a servant, or for a king. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya was so satisfied with King Prataparudra just for menial service, for sweeping the way for the Jagannath cart. Yes, because he understood that king is very proud personality. Every king should be proud, otherwise cannot be king. But he humiliated himself so low that he became a bhangi, street sweeper, for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. Yes. And therefore, this particular act of King Prataparudra was most satisfying for Lord Chaitanya, and he agreed then that he will meet the king. He will allow the king to meet him. Hare Krishna. I hope this is helpful in any way. Is there any other question or comment?
I have a question. Like,
yes.
We should be, as you told, being proud is not the normal state of ourselves. It's craziness.
Yes.
Sometimes we see that while doing service with other devotees, there is maybe some little confliction going on. So, in my case, I think if I be humble at that case, he may think, okay, finally I won.
And you cannot stand that he will win.
And if I don't be humble, then my mind says you should not be proud. So what should be the solution in that particular case? In my case, I always in a dilemma.
Yes, this dilemma stems from this idea that I'm a master, and he should submit.
But if I be humble in that case, it's very clearly seen that he feels happy. Okay. Finally,
Yes.
finally surrendered.
Yes, you should be his servant. So make him happy.
I want to add, when this happens, sometimes people, once you don't say anything, and they will try to do more and more, sometimes like blaspheming, and should we also tolerate that?
Blaspheming against us.
Against us, sometimes even against our family members. If we don't say anything, we just say, okay, I tolerate, it's okay. Just continue more and more. And I was thinking, isn't it that we are allowing them to degrade themselves more and more by not saying anything?
Yes. We should know something. That Vaishnava doesn't tolerate offense to other Vaishnavas, but he tolerates offenses against himself. And it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the explanation of the verse Trinadapi Sunichana Torurivasa Krishnana Amanina Manatina Kirtanya Hari, that one should be more humble than a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree, not expecting respect from oneself, but give respect to any living entity. It is mentioned there that one should not defend himself in any circumstance. And this is very difficult, not to defend ourselves. And it's good for exercising this. Exercise not to defend yourself. Because many times you will be accused of something that you didn't do. And natural reaction is to defend ourselves. And even if we are accused of something we did, we still tend to defend ourselves. This may be even more frequent. But try not to defend. It's very difficult, but it's very beneficial if you take it with proper consciousness. That this is Lord desire, and it's just my material reaction. This trying to defend myself is just a material reaction to certain stimuli. Yes, it's just a material reaction. So, yes, if there is differences of opinion, we can of course express our opinion of something. There's no harm in this. But if someone doesn't want to accept your opinion, it's his business. Why would you want to persuade him in your right, that you're right? You will not gain anything. Maybe you will feel victory if you will defeat him by logic or by shastric quotes or, or anything like this. But what will you achieve actually? He'll not be happy by this. And your happiness will just inflate your false ego. You understand? But if you express your opinion or your understanding of something, and if he accepts, then everything is okay. You can discuss then, as Krishna explains in 9th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Machita madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam katayantascha mam nityantushyanti cha ramanti cha. The devotees always discuss my glories and activities, and they feel great pleasure by doing this, and bliss. Not just pleasure, but also bliss. So, we should try to discuss Krishna consciousness things, and not some material things with the devotees. And if some particular service should be done in a certain way, there should be, if there is some disagreement there should be Vaishnava etiquette followed. Therefore, Vaishnava etiquette, according to Lord Chaitanya, is the ornament of a devotee. And one should, of course, put ornaments on himself to be pleasing to the Lord. So then you should act according to Vaishnava etiquette. If he's senior in any way to you, you should be very humble. And if he's junior and he doesn't follow your instructions, he doesn't follow Vaishnava etiquette, you should be humble. Or if it is detrimental for some service, then you can go to his superior, to someone who he accepts as an authority. If he doesn't accept you as an authority, then there will be only fight, and no good will be accomplished. So if something is not beneficial for the service, go to his authority. Everyone should have some authority. Even temple president has some authority. Yes. Is this clear? It's very simple if we follow this verse, Trinada Pisunichana, and Vaishnava etiquette. It's very simple.
It's very hard to follow this.
Yes. But it is instruction. It is instruction that we should thread this verse of Trinada Pisunichana on the thread of the holy name and wear it around our neck for constant remembrance. So, follow it. This is the key verse to the door of bhakti. Only if we open the door with the key of Trinada Visanishana, we can pray for ahetuki bhakti. Only then, Lord Chaitanya says, Nadanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagati shakamaye mama janmani janmani vichure bhavatad bhaktir ahetuki tvayi. So only then ahetuki bhakti, we can really desire ahetuki bhakti and nothing else. Otherwise we would desire some prestige. I'm superior. I know better. I this, I that. And this is not amanina. This is manina. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing up the verse, this Trinada Visanishana verse. It happens so that from also senior devotees, I have heard that this is quite good level, Trinada Visanishana. Maybe it's even the level of non-identification with the body. Therefore, it allows to not be, inflamed when someone, not to be the subject for this lower instinct, because there is no longer identification with the subtle gross body. And at the same time, this is quite high level, and it just it's in the beginning when we start practicing we hear it as a golden like standard, but it takes some time to reach this standard. And I was wondering, wouldn't be better like to try? I understand that everything below is compromise. But like in order not to suppress and then it explodes in some way, that it creates some devotees have cancer, like because of like emotions that are not being, because they read this and then they try to apply, but it's beyond their reach for now. So maybe wouldn't it be better like to try to do ecological like I message, like for example saying that like when you said that, just it made me this, I know that I should not feel it, but I did experience it. Or it's really like we really just have to try to be very determined and just exercise straight away that we don't defend at all. Like even if then I do not know. Like even if I, for example, I wouldn't defend at one case, later on it will still come out somehow. Like it's just not possible to do all the time smooth.
Yes. Thank you for this question. My Guru Maharaj was once asked something similar, and he said, "You want some valve to let out your envy." But yes, we should understand this, that this is very hard, as you said, and we should approach it in proper manner, not because it is enjoined like this, and we try to suppress our feelings. This is the wrong approach. I want to suppress my feelings. But I want to be pleasing to the Lord. This should be our mentality. Therefore, I'm putting so much stress on this, that these qualities shouldn't be we shouldn't try to develop them separate from bhakti, because this separation from bhakti immediately creates havoc in our life, somehow or other. Either we inflate our ego, or we suffer because of hurt ego, because there is lack of bhakti. Therefore, everything we do should be, because we are devotees, everything we do should be accompanied with this meditation is for Krishna's pleasure. And then it gains completely different dimension. If I do it just because it is prescribed duty, that I behave in a certain manner, I will definitely suffer. And I will suppress my feelings, and I will become ill even because of this suppression. But this signifies lack of awareness of bhakti, because we didn't connect with Krishna when needed. And this verse, Trinadapi-sunichana, as explained by our acharyas, is not beyond material state of consciousness. It's still on the stage of sadhana bhakti. And therefore it is also explained that we should wear it around our neck for constant remembrance. But as explained also with these qualities, we shouldn't separate them from bhakti. That I'm more humble than a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree, and so on, just because to acquire these qualities to be great personality, even in my own eyes, or because my guru says so, or because it should be like this, or any external reason. Should be because of my devotion to Krishna. Understand? Therefore, it's so important to constantly develop this prayerful mood to Krishna. And we mentioned Narottam Das Thakur, how he prays constantly because he's afraid that he will not be able to go beyond these obstacles to devotional service. And pride and envy and everything, they're great obstacles in devotional service. And this Trinadapi-sunichana is the way to give them up. There is no other way to give them up. How we can give up if we don't have this ideal in our mind this means also dependence on Krishna, complete dependence of on Krishna. If we take shelter of Krishna at these moments, then we'll make tremendous spiritual progress. But if we just suppress our feelings because it should be like this, because people are saying, or even spiritual masters are teaching like this, if with this approach I will repress my feelings, I will explode.
That's what I did.
Yes, I will explode, and I will hurt myself deeply. But if I take it, let it be for Krishna's pleasure, and with this very humble and prayerful mood, Krishna, please accept this. Then you will be put in different tests. Krishna will put you through different tests to see if your surrender is sincere. Yes.
How long that test is going to go on?
Till unlimitedly. It never ends. This test will never end, but your perception will change. Then you will be grateful for Tattena kampam sasamiksha mano punjane vatma kritam vipaka. Yes. Then you will be grateful. Otherwise, you will be grateful. Yes. Hare Krishna. This is difficult, of course. But we can make tremendous spiritual progress if we take shelter of Krishna. Knowingly take shelter of Krishna.
That is given that we really have at least somewhat understanding of personality, because in the beginning there is not such a bhakti towards Krishna, so very difficult to take shelter in a person whom you don't know and don't trust yet. So therefore, with time, I guess, when we hear about Krishna in direct angas...
Yeah, but should never forget on this relationship with Krishna. That you do it for Krishna, not because it's ordained like this.
Yeah.
You should never forget this.
Yes, this is probably that was the problem. Because
yes.
we come with a false ego. My false ego was one of a good pupil, and that means that I have to have a good mark, and
yes.
so it was a different reason. So
yes.
Then it explodes.
Yes, explodes, definitely explodes, either in one way or another. Yes. So this should be our approach. It's for Krishna's pleasure, and will be put through tests, definitely, through heart tests. Yes. But if we undergo them, we'll make tremendous spiritual progress. And this is why this Shikshashtaka is meant for our spiritual progress, not for just recitation. Yes. It's made for our spiritual progress. As long as we don't adopt this, then there will be no taste for the holy name. Yes. Because in the previous verse, Lord Chaitanya mentions, although the holy name is all powerful, there is no taste. There is no taste. But this is the key to the taste, to the deeper connection with Krishna. Because when our false ego is hurt, we can really take shelter. Really, in Krishna, if this is our approach of taking shelter. But if we don't take shelter, then we'll be just hurt. Yes, and we still will not have taste for Krishna, because for the holy name, because when we'll chant, then in hurt state, we'll just meditate how this particular person hurt my feelings during our chanting. This will go through my mind all the time. And why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that? Why I allowed this to happen? This
dialogue.
Yes. But if it in these certain tests, if we will take shelter of Krishna, then when I will chant my japa, I will take even more seriously a shelter of Krishna. Krishna, please help me. I am helpless. I cannot go beyond my false ego. I cannot go beyond my hurt feelings also. But Krishna, you are my only shelter. Please help me. But if we don't have such an attitude, we'll just suffer. And we'll definitely suffer, even if we fight or not. We'll definitely suffer in both cases. So better to take shelter of Krishna and try to be pleasing to Him and make spiritual advancement very quickly. Hare Krishna. I think it's enough time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.